Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play the great strategy games. We are continuing on here with a Let's Play tutorial for AGEOD Civil War II. As you can see, we are in late May of 1861. This will be episode number 7. And there's a lot going on the board, a lot that happened during that last turn resolution as more forces start to show up here on the map. And as you can see, the Northern Army, the Union Army, has formed their Army of the Potomac, um, and it's currently showing a combat power of 847. And our Army of the Potomac as well, which will become the Army of Northern Virginia, of course, is sitting here with 355. That doesn't look great. We're going to have to keep pumping more troops in there. Now, one thing you'll notice, and one thing we haven't talked about, is underneath these towns. So Alexandria, you see all these little bubbles or balls, I guess. Um, that shows you that there are 1 to 3. If there's one ball here, it means there's 1 to 3 units. For every ball, it represents 3 units. So here we've got one. Yeah, let's scoot up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they've got at least 18 units there. Um, and it appears like maybe a lot more. If we click up here, we see Army of the Potomac. This is now being led by Nathaniel Banks. It was Irving McDowell previously. Looks like they've maybe shifted McDowell out. So Nathaniel Banks is now in charge. We have a required command of 14 and a provided command of 17. That 14 tells me that that's at least 3 divisions strong. Divisions take 4 command points or they're worth 4 command points. So that would go into that required command number. Now, if we look over here at our forces, we're building here still. You still see the manpower and the cohesion going up. Um, we were told that would take 3 turns to fully build. So, yep, we're down to 2 turns. So, in a couple of turns, hopefully our manpower, will be up, our cohesion will be up, and we'll get this a little bit closer to this Union force. Now, of course, the Union Army can keep pushing troops there into Alexandria, and they may make a play for us right from the start. We'll have to see. But we're entrenching here. Beauregard, as we'll see down here to the right, is up to a 2 entrenchment level. Now, you may remember last time we had a 0 entrenchment level, and you'd be like, well, how did we get to 2? Uh, Beauregard has this entrenchment bonus that we see down here, which gets him to the next level of entrenchment 10% faster. So my guess is that we not only got to 1, but we're building on 2 since he does have that bonus. So that's great. If we look over here to the left into the Shenandoah, um, Joe Johnston has now got an entrenchment level of 1. He sat here for 1 turn. These troops will also be active in 2 turns. We're also building Armistead's brigade over here, a very powerful force. That's 200. As soon as that's built, we'll take this little index card. We'll put it, see that merging symbol right there? See the 2 blues together? That will dump the Armistead's brigade into Oh, I'm sorry, that was to the wrong way. We would put it in the Shenandoah force. So you see the blinking 2 uh, troops there. That's how you combine things. So right now, or you could just take this and dump it over here, but we don't want to do that yet. So Joe Johnston's up here. He's digging in. He's getting more forces. This is his force, but we've got 2 nice forces building over here for him, as we do for Beauregard. Let's see with Joe Johnston. Let's look at his special orders. Now, we could enter the town of Strasbourg. We don't want to do that. We don't want to march anywhere. We cannot form this into an army yet. I do believe when these become unfixed, we will be able to move him into an ar or move this all into an army, which will hopefully clear up this command problem we have over here. Build. Yeah, there's nothing we need to build. So this is what I like to do. I know I always say, well, I like to read the messages at the top or at the start of every turn, but let's be honest, I like to go out here and look at our main armies and just see what's going on. We've got no real orders that we can give them. They're just going to be building this turn, and that's fine. Now we have our supply wagon here that we've sent this direction. We didn't want to have it put in Fredericksburg. This is where we're building, actually. We're building these two units for Beauregard. We've sent our supply wagon this way because we didn't want it to be in Fredericksburg and maybe get caught up in some kind of Union action. I think we'll pick it up out of this region, place it in this region over here at Culpeper, because I often like to use these down here in Staunton, Lexington. If we need to move, forces out here into West Virginia, I like to have a supply wagon with them. In Manassas, if we look at Manassas very quickly by hitting Control and then clicking on the town, we have a depot here. So we should be in good supply. The same goes with Strasburg. Oh, that pulled that up. I didn't mean to pull, well, it doesn't really matter. Here, control click, there we go. Strasbourg has a depot. When you see these depots, generally you're going to be in very good supply, especially on a rail line, especially this close to Richmond. Now we can get into supply problems up here if the Union comes down here, right here, and kind of cuts us off from supply this way and supply up this way. So we'll have to be, cognizant of that. It's one of the real problems as the Confederate player early in the game is if the Union runs right down the valley here and tries to take Newmarket. First of all, you have to unentrench and try to, counter that somehow. It cuts off supply. So as soon as we can, we'll try to detach an army, well, not an army, a corps or a division once we can form them and get it down here directly into the valley. But we'll have to worry about that later. Now, oh, I would also point out here, the Union has got quite a few more generals and units that have appeared here. So we've got something in Frederickstown. They may pull that up here to Leesburg and kind of threaten us from both sides. We have to watch that. They may also come here straight to Harper's Ferry, try to take that back from us. You see back here in Baltimore, um, they've got a one-star general. We don't have a lot of recon on these guys. We just don't have a good detection level on them yet. Um, as the game goes on, again, here's another unit without much recon. We just don't have much on them. As the game goes on, we will be sending cavalry out to get better information so that we know what's going on with various forces. But let's go down here to our messages and see what's happening. North Carolina has seceded. That's great. Uh, that gives us more manpower, more supplies, more of everything. Um, Now let's look here. So the Confederate capital was moved to Richmond. Now I said it previously had moved to Richmond because the game told us that. They said that they were building fortifications around the capitals. I think what the game actually meant is they were building fortifications automatically around what would become our capital, which is now Richmond. Made no effect whatsoever. But this is official now that our capital is Richmond. The Union decided to issue war bonds. Okay, now you remember we had decisions to make. We printed money and raised taxes. We still have the ability to issue war bonds. Um, that would give us, anytime you do something with money like that, it generally gives you $600,000. We right now have 1.2 million. So always add the three zeros behind here. It's so we've got 1262. If we issued war bonds, that would be another 600. And we may want to do that at some point. I would prefer that we don't. It does take away national morale and cost you some victory points, I do believe. Hey, let's just go look. How much? Let's go down here to Treasury, issuing war bonds. It's 25 victory points. So I was wrong. It's not national morale. It's 25 victory points. Um, and let's go look at our victory points. So how do we do that? We go to objectives. Objectives show you all the major objective towns. Um, as you can see, some of the ones that were neutral before, Nashville, for instance, I believe the first time we looked at this, Memphis was still a neutral. They have flipped over into our column. So we actually control a vast majority of the important towns. You see here, Norfolk, we took Norfolk. That's worth 1 point per turn as long as we control it. Um, Nashville, Mobile, Charleston. Just kind of get used to these because these are the big ones. The two capitals, DC and Richmond, are both worth 50. Behind that, St. Louis is worth 5, Charleston and New Orleans. So those, that kind of tells you what's the importance of some of these towns, and it'll give you an idea of the places that you should probably fortify, reinforce, put armies there because they are worth, quite a few more points. This is every turn how many points you get for holding them. And it's also probably what the AI is going to come hunting for, or if you play another human, what is going to be important to that primate. Um, Looking up here, we've moved to Richmond. Our morale's good. It's anything over 100, we're looking good. Now we would win at 200, lose at 25. We're up to 309 victory points, including 52 a turn. If we look down here, the US, the Union, has a lower morale than us. We always want to keep that the case. That means, we're doing our job here. We also have now surpassed them by quite a bit of victory points. We're at 309, which you can also see right up here. They're at 264. They're getting 52 a turn. We're getting 52 a turn. Now, we've done a couple of things that got us some, more victory points. Some things in our control, some things that weren't. Nashville became active, Memphis became active. We're getting points for that. We took Sumter, we got some points. We've played some cards on the board that gave us some points, like we built that telegraph line. Um, so yeah, things are looking pretty good from that perspective. Now let's go and see. We'll go through some of this later. Treasury and government and interior, these three are usually where your decisions will be. If those decisions become available, we will get a notification. So we don't have to go through those. Sometimes I'll click on them and see, hey, is there something that's popped up as a decision that we could possibly make? So we see Union. We just talked about the war bonds. North Carolina seceded. Cotton bales have started to rot in our harbors. We never ever want that. So let's go to our cards. We'll see some rotted. Well, I think we missed a turn, and now I'm mad about that. It's not the end of the world. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you'll just forget. Let's pull this up here to the. Oh, wait a minute. We got more places to do this now. Do we? Do we? Well, I don't know. We played it here and I don't see any more. We can only play one a turn. So, oh, I think this is the runner. I think that's what was blinking. I was like, wait a minute, we've got a lot more regions. Uh, no, export bales, you can only do that out of this one region for whatever reason. Must have been a huge port during the Civil War era to get cotton out. So we've done that. That will give us $15,000. That's always fun. Um, but we did lose some of the bales. So before we had 11, that just knocked it down to 6. That was dumb. But hey, it happens. Hasty defenses erected around Richmond. We talked about that. And John Magruder organizes his forces in Richmond. Hmm, what's that about? Well, let's click on the notepad, go to Richmond, and what do we have here? we've been looking at these generals. We're going to start shipping them out soon. Um, to prepare for turning forces into divisions and making them our brigadier generals over divisions. We still haven't done that yet. Maybe we'll do that here in the coming turn. We'll see. Uh, these guys are brand new. Bushrod Johnson, Gustavus Smith, Charles Winder. Um, and they are going to be, well, they're actually not brand new. They've just been locked, right? And next turn we would be able to move these guys if we wanted. They're just more generals, division generals, generals. These guys are all kind of the same. I think there's maybe one guy that's got decent stats. Yeah, it's Winder 322, which isn't terrible. It's better than 311. So, um, yeah, we haven't done anything with them yet. Now, CSA detachment. This is what the message was about. John B. Magruder has shown up in Richmond, sporting his fine mustache, and he is a good surpriser. He's got a 20% chance of surprising the enemy or getting the first fire for his entire stack under command. If he, and you will see the second part, the ability applies if he's in command of the entire stack. So we just cannot put another general in here with a better seniority than Magruder, but Magruder's seniority is 6, so that's pretty dang good. He's got a 3-2-3, so the 3 is the strategic. That means there will be, when the initiative roll happens, um, 3 is okay. It's average. It's not bad. So he's got about a half chance of always being activated. He's 2 offensive and 3 defensive, like most Confederate generals. Better on the defense. But then he's got the 15th Virginian. He's got this battalion of sharpshooters. Are these guys all out of? Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting. It says it's Sharpshooters, North Carolina, but it says VA Battalion. Well, whatever. They're out of North Carolina. Um, so he's got a sharpshooter level 1. So this unit possesses sharpshooters which impede enemy reaction plus 1 initiative bonus in battle to the whole unit. And this applies to all elements of the unit that this element is in. Okay, cool. Just, if you've studied the Civil War, played other Civil War games, you understand these guys are like skirmishers, etc. They're called sharpshooters, but they just give us initiative. They allow us to shoot first sometimes, which was a big advantage in these kind of line battles. So great. Okay, Magruder's here. When can he move? He's fixed for 1 turn. Great. So next turn we will have a defensive rapid force here in Magruder. We will probably add this artillery that's coming to Richmond. Now, when we click on this, we can see again, now it's 15 days out from Richmond. It's moving this way. We send it this way. Now, this is not only this artillery, this is also that Norfolk ammo. So they're both moving along the roads here and getting back to Richmond. Now the supply wagon's only 13 days away, so it's obviously got a little faster move quotient than the artillery, which probably makes some sense. Um, Yeah, we still got this stuff down here. Okay, so we're through all these messages. Let's see these messages. Our blockade runners from the Atlantic blockade got 4 war supply back, as did the Gulf blockade. Hey, that's great. Every little bit of war supply helps. We're up to 115 on that. Man, that really encourages me to get more ships out into that blockade run if they're going to be bringing us war supply. That's fantastic. Um, while patrolling the Caribbean blockade, found Texas squadron. Right. Inflicted 9 hits. So let's go out there. Yeah, these guys were roughed up a little bit. You can see manpower and cohesion. They got, they got tussled about by this ship. Now, we don't actually see that battle. It's kind of an abstraction. This is what happened to our blockade runners. Now, they're not completely out of commission here. but we may have to send them back to New Orleans to rest up a little bit. We'll look into that this turn. Um, oh, this tells us so a CSA detachment has arrived in Shelby, Tennessee. Oh, right, right, right. Okay, so that's this the supply detachment. Um, Now I think one thing I still haven't shown you is so let's look at Memphis Force. Okay, Memphis Force has a supply wagon. Let's back up for a second. When you have a force that's going to be moving around, now this Memphis Force, it may sit here, it may not. We may want it to come up here up the river and start to pressure the north, or the north may start taking our stuff up here and we want to move. You you generally always want a supply wagon with it. This early in the game and with on a rail line and everything, two might be overkill. Now I was thinking about putting this. Oh, what I was going to say, one thing I haven't shown you is how do you combine units? And we talked about this right at the top. You do this. So see this, you just drag the index over here, take it, and there it is. And if we want to take it out, we do that. We just drag it out of there. It forms its own again. And that's how you do that. We still have Hollins here, blah, blah, blah. So that arrived there. Let's keep going through these messages. Sometimes I get distracted when I see things. Um, right. So this is the other supply wagon that's back in Virginia. Cool. Bushrod, Rod Johnson, Gustav Smith, and Winder, they're saying they're active, but they didn't appear very active to me. Yeah, they're still under lock and key. Um, okay. Well, it says they'll be active next turn. Okay. First Reserve Brigade is now active in Richmond, so let's go, let's look here again. And right. Okay, now this brigade has been sitting here. It was called, it's the Reserve Brigade. It's been sitting here. It's now completely active. This is taken off. It's made of three elements, the 38th Virginia over here, 38th Virginia, 24th Virginia, and 1st Reserve Cavalry. So, a nice little force that's going to just sit here. Um, Now, what we should do we've got Magruder. We could always put him in here with Magruder, but Magruder already has a supply or a command problem. Magruder is a seniority 6. Let's give him. This is Evans, right? Oh, he's a 322. It's not terrible. He's just drunk. Uh, these guys all have okay stats. 311, 311. These guys aren't ready yet. 322. We don't want to waste like 322 guys. We'd rather give them their own stack. Um, so let's just take Whiting here and give it to Magruder. So now he's. Oh, I hate when I do that. This just put it in with the reserve brigade. Let's put this in with the CSA detachment. There we go. Now you see. So Whiting has a seniority of 93. He slots in right behind Magruder. Magruder has a seniority of 6. So, as was the force structure of that time, we've got the guy that's in command, but he's also, he can have a brigadier general along with him. Now, what did that do? If we look at this whole stack, let's click off this for a second, bring it back up. If we look at this whole stack now, now it's got less of a penalty. We've got 4 command points. So we've got the 2 1-star generals. They both add a 2 command points. So now we've got 4 command points. We need 5. Why do we need 5? In these guys right here, the 15th Virginia, we have 3 elements. We have 1 element, these sharpshooters, 1 element of cavalry. That's 5. That's the number of command points we need. Now, the supply wagon has elements, but you don't have to command them, obviously. It's just showing you there are actually 4 20-point supply wagons here. They don't have to be commanded. Okay, so cool. We've got four now command points. So you say, well, why don't we put another one in there? What's Ruggles? He's 92. He's a 311. Okay, let's put him in here. Now, you see, now we've got six command points. Two command points, two command points, two command points, and only five elements. So that's great. He's within, or this grouping, this CSA detachment is within command, or what we call, in good command. So you're not suffering any bonuses whatsoever. And that's what you're always going for. Now, we can't do anything else with them. Um, yeah, nothing, no other orders we could give them. So that's that. Now we see our reserve force here. It needs two. Huh. Now that's interesting. It shows us with three elements here. Do, 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 do. Hmm. I really, I think there must be something special about this where it only needs two. Hey, I'm not going to complain. Uh, you know, I would think this would need three to command, but it says two. We have zero. Obviously, there's nobody here. So what are we going to do? We're going to move, uh, who would be a good guy to have as our rapid force guy? It's not him. We got 89 seniority, 82 seniority, 75 seniority. Now let's look over here. We've got MJ Thompson, 421. We don't really want to use Thompson there, because he's going to go west. So you know what we'll do? We'll just have Bushrod Johnson command this force. So there we go. You see, we get the two command points because he's a 1 star. If he was a 2 star, we would get, I believe it's 8. And if he's a 3 or 4 star, we get 12. So yeah, we've now got these guys in command. Bushrod Johnson, he's not great by any stretch of the imagination, but he's also just going to be sitting here at Richmond with the reserve brigade. So, question whether we really care if he's great or not. So cool. We've got these guys in command, in good command. We've got this reserve force in good command. And this is how you use your generals, how you move them around. Now, we still have command problems up here. We need 27. We only have 18 because we have 12 here, 14, 16, 18. Um, and you may say, well, why don't we move some generals down there? We can do that, but actually, until we can form divisions and form up corps, the highest that you can naturally have is to have 4 generals in a stack. Um, so 18 is really, well, really, yeah, 18 is probably the best we can do here. Um, you'll see over here, Johnston. Uh, this is not in proper command because we have not formed this into an army. We will. And I know some of this is a bit confusing. It won't be confusing to you as we watch further. So normally this should be a 12, 14, 16, 18, and we've got 8. But oh, the reason we do is because he would normally be a 12, but he's not in the proper chain of command here because we haven't formed this into an army. So you have him. So it's 6, 8, 10, 12, but it's showing 8. Oh, they're all halved. So it's 6, 7, 8. It should be 9, but it's not. Um, yeah. So I'll have to come back. I'm actually going to look that up now because I'm very curious as to why that is 8. I think it should be 6, 8, 10, 12. If you have them all, it'd be 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to figure that out because now I'm just wondering. It's not a huge difference right now. Um, we're going to very shortly form this into an army and it becomes a non-issue. But now I'm just curious. Uh, okay. So now we've seen these guys that are active. Um, this is that reserve brigade we just gave command to. Tennessee Gunboat Squadron, they're ready to go. Nashville transports are ready to go. So here in Davidson, Tennessee, we've got some naval action, and we're going to go into naval during this turn again. It looks like Tatnall, our guy here, Tatnall, is he's now active down in Chatham, Georgia. This is the guy we've looked at a couple of times. He's kind of cool looking, I think. So I like to check him out. Josiah Tatnall. He's also pulsing there. So it's telling us we could give a special order. We don't need to do any of this. Aha! But he can get promoted. So let's click on this, and that's great. So it gives you kind of what the rules are here for promotion. But yes, Tatnall can be promoted. So we came down here. He's going to take this Georgia squadron out here, which I guess is just the CSS Georgia. It's raidership. He's going to go out and try to run that blockade, and we'll try to add any ships we can underneath him. Um, yeah, let's see. What's his? Oh, sorry. Let's see. What's his command? Oh, yeah, this is great. He's providing 8 command, which makes him the equivalent of like a two star general. So I guess he's a two anchor admiral. Uh, and this gives him 8, but now we're promoting him. That won't happen till next turn. I think that'll give him a 12. We shall see. That'll be fun. Oh, interesting. So this transport that we just got here just became active underneath Tatnall. Huh, that's a transport. We'll take a look at that. Tatnall is a blockade runner. Awesome, level 1. What's the other thing? He's a seaman. He's kind of a badass, so that's cool. He's getting a promotion, so we'll see. We're going to try to put as many ships underneath him as being like our main blockade runner. Before we wrap this up, let's look at the rest of these. Um, Smith's brigade received the 1st Tennessee Carter's Cav. Oh, okay. We're starting to get new elements. These are elements into our stacks. So our little cards that represent brigades, they're starting to get new elements, and it will tell you. And also, we've got one replacement from the reserve unit. This is at like about 33 minutes now. I think this is a good place to stop because when we come back, I want to talk about this. It's kind of important. It's a good concept to dive into. And so we'll go over this. We'll finish up the rest of our messages. There aren't too many left. So we'll go into reserve units. We'll go deeper into these elements. We'll move our naval stuff to the extent we can, and then we'll process the turn. But that'll happen next time. So, as always, thank you very much for joining me here on Strategy Gaming Dojo. I always appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, you learned something from it, and you're liking this game. As always, if you would like to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, please hit the subscribe button. That would be great. All right, I will talk to you next time. Thanks again.